morning, everybody. Actually, my name is Lauretta Webb, soon to be just Webb, and there's a big long story about too many husbands. But, you know, we're excited, not just that, but very privileged to have the opportunity to share this program with you. It's been a long, sometimes painful effort of love, and we appreciate you being here. So right now we are at the Redbird migration, as you know, and this is going to be our presentation today. And what we're going to do is start this with a compelling story. This is my pregnant daughter, my son-in-law, and their first child, Mary Lucille, affectionately known as Lucy. This is a picture from a recent flight that my son-in-law flew at 10,000 feet in a Cessna 150G at 10,000 feet. So excited to be able to make this picture. His breath is freezing. And he showed it on his Instagram post. And that's when I find out about this stuff incidentally. Well, you know, I'm proud and happy and excited for these folks, but there's one thing that I'm afraid of, and that's this. Okay? I don't want this to happen to them. And that is why I'm here today, and I'm trying not to tear up. But general aviation safety is a substantial passion for me. I worked at the Eventful Insurance Company for 15 years, and I have images in my mind I wish that I could find. So, of course, as you might know, I've sent him every safety thing I could possibly find. I mean, all the books. The one you suggested was Flight Passage, Flight Passage, and Bait is the Hunter, the Pilot Proficiency books, you name it. Oh God, yeah. So this is my first grandchild, just so you know, and I'm fucking all right. So it's important for us to note that we've really put some thought into this. And so I'd like to share with you our vision and mission. Our vision today is to reduce general aviation accident rate through participation in the FAASTeam Wings Pilot Proficiency Program, and that's going to be a theme you're going to hear a lot about from us today. Our mission then is to network aviation industry members and the FAASTeam to enhance aviation safety through pilot and aviation maintenance technician proficiency. And we're excited to be able to add maintenance technicians into this because there's such a vital role in safety. It's so important. So this is who we are. Myself, Ron Timmermans, Paul Berger, and John Type again. And this is who we network with, okay? And it's all kinds of various organizations and many others, but these were just a few of the convenient logos that I could find that have been supporting us now for a couple of years. These are the services that we're going to be providing to facilitate the network, okay? And I'm not going to read up into all this. We're going to cover a few of them, which is to improve the Wings user experience. And if any of you all have really put some effort into getting Wings credit for Wings phase, then you already know there's no user friendliness of any kind, none. We'll be promoting the member safety services. So any safety service that any of these folks, and there's several of you in this room today, we will help promote those services, okay, as part of our network. We're going to do it by having a newsletter with information you might not have ever seen before, and we'll get into detail about that. And then we do a Wings Insights live broadcast on behalf of our industry members. So we'll talk about those things today. Oops, well, because when it comes to safety, we cooperate, we don't. And we think that this model is the most important thing in what I'm going to say revolutionize the general aviation complex, safety complex in this country. Right now we have 32 industry supporters, these folks and others. And any of you are welcome to join us. So the Insights Wings courses. We are literally putting together live presentations, Wings Approved, to spotlight our industry members, to have them tell us how and why safety is a part of their core business model, core business values. They're going to have credit, and you got to write quiz. There's always homework with me. Oh, and typing. So, but it'll be available for viewing and earning Wings credit at any time. We were very privileged. We've only had 2 so far, and Redbird was our very first Wings Insight broadcast, followed by the Society of Aviation, Aviation and Flight Educators. So, and the third one will be tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, featuring Jason Blair, who is a very, very popular and well-known designated pilot examiner, author, and CFI, all kinds of these, the whole alphabet. So if you're hanging around, tune in. You can find the link on our website. The newsletter, the purpose of the newsletter, more than anything, is this is where we want to publicly demonstrate news and information and tips from industry members that are not widely known. Things that are actually going on in the industry that people don't know about at all. So the first column that you'll see every month is from the National FAASTeam leader out in DC. And she'll give us some thoughts, then we'll get insights from FAA leadership, program managers, each of them, we've only done 2, and it's been program managers. We're going to get notes from lead reps out in the field, and then we're actually going to be reaching out to the General Aviation National Award honorees. Then we have a website, and I could have taken a bunch of screenshots, but I decided that I didn't want to spend too much of your time. But our website has a drop down for the programs. All the supporters are published on the website with their logos and links. And then we are a 501c3, so you know, we take donations, but we do not actively solicit donations. We're hoping to be able to get grants to help us fund this. We're working with the General Aviation Awards Committee right now to come up with a new category, and that category will be for an industry member. So it'll be similar to, you'll get a plaque, a certificate, and you can hang these things up in your businesses or share them with your employees or put them on your website. And we're still working on all the criteria, but they'll definitely be, the most significant part of it will be based on safety initiatives. And it'll be a percentage of the whole, because there's way bigger companies and way smaller companies. And we want to make sure that everyone's represented in these awards. And perhaps down the road, there'll be flight schools only or something like that, but we're just trying to get this thing out the gate. And then we have all these activities at AirVenture. And so I wanted to share with you today what it looks like in the plaque with the administrator, with someone you might recognize, our very own Ron Timmermans. He was the 2021 National Flight Instructor of the Year. Yay!
is when we do the handout.
Yeah, so I'm going to introduce to you all now. You already know that he's a national award-winning flight instructor. He's also a beach driver and does BPPP and beach tramp. Well, anyway,
Thank you.
take it away, Ron.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here and to get a chance to tell you about the Wings Industry Network and some of the things that we've been doing. So as Lauretta mentioned, Wings Industry Network, if you got wings in your name, you have to be associated with an outfit called the FAA and the safety team. We are really well connected with them. As a matter of fact, we have a group from the FAA FAASTeam that interacts with our Wings Industry Network directors on a monthly basis so that we can share what we're doing, we can get input from them, and so we are really linking well with them, and they have been extremely cooperative with this. So you've probably, if you've been around the Wings program at all, you've probably gone to the www, how many W's it is, FAASafety.gov website. Who's been there? And who's been frustrated when they've gotten there? Yeah, so that's pretty much same numbers, right? So we understand that. As best you can describe the FAASafety.gov website is clunky, right? I mean, if we were trying to be nice, you might have other adjectives for it, but whatever. So we understand that, and our network, and particularly our directors, are starting some initiative products that are going to make that website at least a little bit easier to use. To try and change the FAASafety.gov website is next to impossible because it moves at the speed of government, and there's a lot of inertia to overcome to make any changes. We've made a few inroads, but again, they've been cooperative with the Wings Industry Network as we've tried to develop interfaces that will enhance or at least make the website easier to use. Two examples I want to show you today, products that we've already developed. The first one is called the two-step. Now, if you're from Texas, you know what that is, but if you're just an aviator from anywhere else, you might know what the two-step is, so it has a slightly different connotation. It is where you, well, before the two-step, you would do a wings course online, right? And then you'd have to go to the quiz, and it'd take you, click to get to here, and then another here, and then you finally get FAASafety.gov, then you have to enter your thing, and then you have to find the course that you just finished, right? So you sift through and search for that, and you find the course, then you'd have to register, and then you'd finally get to the quiz. I think it was a total of about 7 different clicks, right? Most people made it through 3 or 4 and said, to hell with it. A few were real diligent, made it to 5 or 6, and only about 2% or less made it all the way through to the quiz. And so the return of people who actually earned wings credits by completing the quiz for one of these courses was very, very low. So enter the two-step, 2 steps to get to the quiz. So I don't know how we do it, but the magic behind this is you click on the quiz, it brings you to the FAASafety.gov website. You have to register, you have to put in your name and password. That's the same with everything else. But the next click, you're at the quiz for that course, and you're already pre-registered for it. You don't have to do anything else except answer the 15 questions. You're done with that, submit it, boom, you've got wings credit. So we're already seeing the number of people that are completing the quiz and earning wings credit for the Webb Wings seminar is dramatically increasing, and it's just going to get better. So any courses that the Wings Industry Network produces, we attach the two-step process to it, and it makes it a whole lot easier. Now, most of this is behind the scenes, but it's going to make it easier for you and for me to take the quiz and earn wings credit. So that's one of the initiatives that we've done. Directed quiz, we call it. One click, log on, another click, and you're completing the quiz. Here's the other product that we're really excited about, and we're like this close to launching it. You're going to get an inside view today. We call it Easy Wings. So beyond the Webb Wings seminars now, let's say that you as a pilot want to do a flight review, or you as a flight instructor want to provide an IPC for a plane, or maybe you as an examiner and a pilot getting together for a check ride, you'd like to give the wings credit for that the person is due for whatever they've just accomplished. Once again, it's after you finish the flight, you have to go home, log onto your computer, FAASafety.gov. Oh my God, it's just terrible, right? And you log in, and now you got to search for whatever it was that you just accomplished. IPC, okay, search for IPC. There's like 10 or 12 of them, right? Which one do I do? And if you do flight review. Again, there's several different ones, some offered by, yeah, they're all different companies offer an IPC, and there's just one generic one. You got to find out if that's what you use. And then if there's something else that you did, just some flight activities. Anyway, it's challenging to get to what makes sense to you. And so many people say, well, it's just too much trouble. I just don't want to use the wings program because it's frustrating for me, right? And so, and then the same way with the validators, whether you're a CFI or a DPE, it's a bit of a challenge to find the right things there. So here's what Easy Wings is going to do. Before you even leave the airport, on a smartphone, you as a pilot can pull up the app for Easy Wings. And it's pretty simple. As the airman, or as we're now called, the learner, is that the right terminology now? Okay. But whatever, for right now we're calling it airman. So if you just finished your check ride, you touch that. If you just wanted to get credit for flight review, you touch that. And if you wanted just for an IPC, you touch that. And if you're a student trying to get flight credits for what you just did, landings, navigation, whatever it might have been, you can touch student. Okay, so let's say we checked check ride. I think that's the first one. Yeah, practical test. So the next screen you see on your iPad or your smartphone is, all right, well, which check ride did I just complete? Okay, well, I just finished my private pilot check ride. You touch that, and it immediately will bring you to that spot in the FAASTeam.gov website for the flight credits for private pilot. Ooh. You don't have to search, don't have to get frustrated. It brings you right to the site where it's the flight credits for private pilot, the check ride that you just finished moments ago, right? The signature is still wet on your temporary airman certificate, and you're about to get wings credit. This is great. So the next click is, I request a validator, and the nearby examiner that is right there with you is listed. You touch that person's name, and they get a message on their iPad or smartphone that says, hey, you've got credits waiting for your validation, okay? And so then the examiner touches that, validates the credits for the flight credits for what you've just, the check ride you've just done, and before you leave the airport, you have wings credit for what you've just done. Well, that's pretty significant, isn't it? Now the same thing is going to happen for flight review. So now it's a flight instructor rather than an examiner, flight instructor and a new learner. And if I check flight review on that first screen, then I can decide, well, am I flying an airplane today, or am I in a glider, or am I weight shift control, or rotorcraft, or whatever. So I select that, and and once I select that, it takes me to that spot in the FAASTeam.gov website, the flight credits for a flight review in that airplane, in that aircraft category and class. Okay, category, I guess it would be not class. All right, and so once again, I select that, select the validator who is probably standing right there next to me or sitting across the table from me if we're an FBO, will get a note and they will validate it. And again, before I leave the airport, I have flight review, wings credit, and I've earned a phase of wings. Oh, and by the way, Paul and Lauretta didn't mention this before, but if you've been around for the last few years, you've probably heard that if you earn a phase of wings, you're eligible for, what do we call it?
The Paul and Frank Burger.
The Paul and Frank Burger sweepstakes, and you can earn cash money, $1,500, $750, or $500. But to earn money, it's like buying a lottery ticket. If you're going to win, you got to buy the lottery ticket, right? So if you're going to win in this Paul and Frank Burger wing sweepstakes, you got to earn a phase of wings, which is pretty dang easy now, right? And you also have to enter. That's a separate click. But, you know, if it's one more click, you possibly earn $500 or $750 or $1,500. It's worth your while to do that, wouldn't you say? Okay, so these are two things: practical test, flight review, and then we also have IPC, and these are the aircraft that you can earn an IPC in, instrument proficiency check. Let's say I've finished an IPC for airplane, I touch that, and it brings us to, this is something different, the FAASTeam.gov website for a particular activity we call Wings Industry Network Instrument Proficiency Check. This is a new one, and this one was developed by the Wings Industry Network, And it not only gives you an IPC, but it also, if you follow the criteria, flight instructors and the sample instructors IPC checklist, the pilots will have also done all the things for a flight review. So IPC and flight review can combine into one, and it results in a phase of wings being awarded to that pilot. So this is something new that the Wings Industry Network has done as well. Developed a new category, not a new activity called Wings Industry Network Instrument Proficiency Check that includes a flight review. Pretty neat. I mean, all in one. Before, I remember saying to pilots, well, if I'm going to fly with you as your instructor, I could either give you an IPC or a flight review, or if we want to combine the two, then we're going to add an extra hour or so to the flight. Well, yeah, but then it's two different categories for wings, or two different activities for wings, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. This combines it all into one. Again, we're trying to make this whole process simpler for you as the pilot, simpler for you as the CFI, simpler for you as the DPE. Making it simpler means we're going to use it more, and the more we use it, the more pilots we're going to get interested in flight proficiency and in the wings program, and we're all going to be better for that. So this is something that we're very passionate about, as you can see. So that's the difference here. So this wings activity that was developed by Wings Industry Network, 1 credit for basic flight topics 1, 2, and 3, 1 credit for basic knowledge 1, 2, and 3, if you use this checklist that is that comes up with it. So a great and innovative thing that I think we're really onto something here, and we're pretty excited about it. I hope you will be too. It's going to be within the next month. We'll have this out for beta test to a select group of DPEs and flight instructors to make sure that we got everything clicking like it's supposed to, and then it's going to be available for everyone. We'll introduce it with the press release and a whole bunch of other hoopla, of course, when we get it really up and running. But this, we are like this close to being ready to deploy it. We're just excited to be. Yes, Brad.
Are you going to be tied in with like Civil Air Patrol's stuff eventually?
Certainly, specifically with Civil Air Patrol, I don't know, but this could certainly be used by Civil Air Patrol and any other entity as well. And we're not keeping this exclusive for anyone specific. It's going to be widely used. We hope the more people that use it, the better off we all are. Karen?
Quick note on that, Ron. So for Civil Air Patrol members, if they have modified their profile on FAASTeam.gov, they automatically get their CAP safety credits anytime they earn wings credits.
Great. But they have to modify their profile on FAASTeam.gov.
Identify themselves as CAP number with their CAP ID.
Wow, good.
And then
Thank
it
you.
automatically gives you your safety credits through CAP anytime you're doing the wings.
Wow. Thank you, Karen. Karen Halashek, who is, what's your role with the CAP now?
I'm a major.
A major
and
with the
and
CAP.
a safety officer.
And a safety officer, very good. And also the chairperson of the National Association of Flight Instructors. Thank you for being part of it today. Was there another question or comment? Okay, all right, let me move on. Well, that is about it. We're near the end of our presentation. So why is it important for the wings program to be sustained? Well, we're all about flight proficiency, or we should be. I would imagine everyone here is. They've got an interest in either being and maintaining their flight proficiency as a pilot, or helping others maintain their flight proficiency if you're a flight instructor or a DPE. This is important. So how do we do that? Well, certainly the wings program is one way to do it. And I would say it's probably the best that we have available for us right now. If you don't use the wings program, what do you have? You've got your logbook, and there's normally that little bitty space at the far right side of the logbook where someone can write in, this pilot did stalls, slow flight, emergency descents, emergency landings and the like. But does that really tell the picture? Does that really describe the picture of what you've done for proficiency training? I mean, it's pretty cryptic, isn't it? But if you use the wings program and you use one of the syllabi, it gives a very specific thing that you've been expected to do. And if your CFI has been true to that, he or she would make sure that you have done all those things to what standard? ACS standards. That's what we're all supposed to live by, right? Whether you're taking a check ride or if you're doing a flight review or an IPC, those are the standards by which we need to live. So the wings program organizes it all, and it provides a record for you and me. When did I take my last flight review? Well, I can go back to my profile in the wings in the FAASTeam.gov, and I can see it was February 29th of 2020, right? So it's a great way of documenting what you have, and it's a good way of planning your next flight review, because you can go in and you can actually plan out your next phase of wings, whether it's basic, advanced, or masters. And if you want to increase your proficiency or maybe your skill level to the advanced level, you can do that. It's like a master's, right? And if you want to do even further, you want to go to the master level, it's like a PhD in education and the like. So we can challenge ourselves with the Wings program. We get a whole lot of resources. There's an immense number of thousands of courses that we can take online, webinars and the like, so it's beneficial there. It's beneficial in that it's organized for us, and we can get it documented of what we've done. So these are the things that I think are important. The Wings Industry Network, again, is a network of these industry members who are dedicated to improving aviation safety. And our tagline is, when it comes to safety, we cooperate, we don't compete. That's all of our 32 members and growing number of members. I hope you'll join us today or consider it. You can look at us on the website. We're a 501c3 corporation. If you know somebody who has a whole lot of money they'd like to donate to us, get us connected. We're happy with that. And Lauretta and Paul and I will take questions if there are any.
I just want to make a comment.
Oh, go ahead.
When you make your application, finish the clicks, because you have a student who has just completed their basic, advanced, or master level, it automatically gets into the 850 FAA safety team. You will get an acknowledgement, you, the aviator, that you've completed, and you have 2 clicks if you like. You can get a lapel pin from Femco for whichever class you qualify, and then you can click again and you can get a chance to win a piece of the sweepstake. Just parenthetically, I'll mention, I got to meet a guy named Timmermans because he was a winner. So it's a $50,000 that I committed. We're in our 4th year, and we had winners again this year. They were all happy. Each time I call a winner, they're very surprised because they didn't remember the fact that they said, yeah, give me a chance. And occasionally, 1 or 2 of them will donate back to us, which is excellent. But there's another benefit, and that is to the CFI. Because the CFI also from 850 gets an acknowledgement that your student, Lauretta got me, completed this, and you as the flight instructor, the last flight instructor, because we recognize there could be more than one, but it's the very last flight instructor who gets the opportunity to also compete in in the sweepstake. So we hope that you'll take that under consideration, and our intention is to add to the sweepstake with other products and services from our sponsors as time goes by. So maybe there'll be a headset there one day, maybe you'll get an in-house Redbird simulator, or maybe a propeller from Hartzell. We don't know. But in any event, that's where we're heading. That's what we like to do, and we hope that you'll pass the message along to your students. And incidentally, each time you qualify also for your flight review or whatever, you've earned a phase of wing. So why not? Click on, participate. Any questions on that side?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, just to, so once you complete a phase of the wings, it automatically goes in there right now.
It does.
There's no more separate entry.
That's right. That's what everything is going to work out. That's the goal. So, yeah, we're this close. We will get Karen.
And you might want to mention, because I think the majority are probably flight instructors, one of the well-kept semi-secrets is how easy it is to renew your flight instructor certificate through the Wings program.
Good point. How many flight instructors here? Quite a few. Okay. And how many of you renew through the Wings program, Wings activity? Really? Not very many? Just scaring me. Hey, this is a good, well-kept secret. And that's what I've been doing the last several years. That's not to say the perks are not good to do, but I mean, it's easy to get the wing certification or recertification for your CFI.
Just 5? And you,
Yeah, 5 or no, 15.
15, you have to validate 15 wings credits.
in 2 years.
At least 5 different people.
5 different people.
Years.
So 5 people, 3 activities,
Very
15 activities.
Yeah, and that's pretty easy to do if you're at all active with flight instructors. Yeah.
If I could suggest, Ron, the committee should work on the FAA, because when you look in the FARs on how to renew your flight instructor, it is not listed. And the reason I say this is, as an examiner's authority to renew applicants this way, and I had a guy just last week renew for wings activity, and I want them to just make sure, am I really checking all the boxes? Is this going to be returned to me by EMS? And so I went to the FAR. It is not there, and it needs to be.
You're right. It's not in the FARs. It's in the AC that covers wings proficiency. And so that's what I reference when I bring mine in. But my FAASTeam members, my FAASTeam program manager knows the process quite well, and so it's a real breeze for that. Yeah. But some people have had that challenge. I agree, Doug. It should be in the FARs because it's regulatory, right? Why wouldn't it be there? But there's just so much influence we have with the FAA. You probably have the same challenge, right? Yeah. Bob, you had a comment or
I was
question?
just going to say it's buried about. I was just going to comment on what Doug said. It's buried about halfway through the AC.
Yeah.
You got to really look for it to
I
find.
think it starts at paragraph 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that. It's third page. Yeah.
All right, good. Other, Obi.
In defense of the FAA.
Are you with the FAA?
oh my God.
In another lifetime, when we originally developed FAAStafety.gov, who I will remain nameless for obvious reasons, it's like driving a big ship. When you turn it, it takes a long time for the other end to move.
You stole that analogy.
The intent, believe it or not, was to get more people in the cockpit, to get more people flying in airplanes. That's the important part. It was so frustrating for years because we had all this data with all these people in the wings program, nobody was flying. It wasn't until we had something like this to come along that it kind of, oh well, if you finish everything, you might win some money. That was golden. And this is another step forward because we went through just the other day our CFI, how to do the wings, painful program. It's the best job in aviation I ever had, don't get me wrong. But it is, like you said, a little painful to go through it. This simplifies it so much, it's wonderful. But what's even more important is what Lauretta started with. It's the right thing to do. Because when I worked with the FAA, how many have been to court before with the FAA? Nobody?
Nobody wants to.
I can't believe that. This is an inside tip. I didn't say it. Okay. We work on what you call a preponderance of evidence. Anything you document, anytime you go to a meeting like today, put in your freaking logbook, put in your date time. If it's written down, it happened. If it isn't written down, it didn't happen. When you go to FAAStafety.gov, just click on the safety meetings. I've got hundreds of them. I went to safety meeting last night, going tonight to the one that you're putting on, going this weekend to another FERC. I just renewed 2 weeks ago. I'm doing it again. Why? Because they work on a preponderance of evidence. And you go in there and say, what have you done right? What have you done wrong? You messed up here. You blew this. But look at here. The intent was to do the right thing, to be a safe pilot. That's the whole preface of when we started the Wings program. How many remember 3 flights and 3 meetings?
Blue card.
Nobody?
Blue card. Yeah.
Boy, my gray hair is showing, but anyway, that's the way it used to be. But it got people in the cockpit. This is going back to making it simple, making it easy. You need to get onto this. This is the best thing since sliced bread.
Thank you, Obi. He's our public affairs person. We love him. Amber, you had a daughter question?
I do, and I think it's kind of backing up with what Obi was saying. A, this is so exciting. Most of my students just refuse to use it. So having an app and a click, I'm super excited for that. But one of the things I think with the Proficiency, like every fall, I'm up in Minnesota, so it gets dark at 4:30. I try to get my students in, hey, let's get you guys night proficient, etc. There's nothing in Wings to give them for this, which is frustrating. I've had an application with FAA, I'm a FAASTeam rep for going on second birthday here to get something approved. So wondering if there's a next step that you guys are working on, because evidently you've got the end of like just the single flight activities. I think the night, to me, the night is a great example of, hey, it's fall, let's get you in here. So not a whole flight review, but hey, let's give them a little kudos for getting proficient, right? Or making sure they're safe going into the winter.
Amber, talk to us. That sounds like a good idea, night proficiency activity. And I don't know if we can get that all the way through to a phase of Wings, but maybe.
Well, I've got 2 applications, and this is again, just getting folks in, maybe not for their whole flight review, but we all know, get in every 6 months, whatever the number is that you, but I've got one in just for like crosswind landings, hasn't been approved, and night, because there's not just a simple, pilot wants to come in and practice crosswind landings. Awesome, great, but they don't want to do softs and shorts, which is a Wings requirement, and I agree, if you don't need to, let's just kudos. You can't land in a 10-knot crosswind, let's give you kudos, right?
So we had great success with this one that we just got approved in a fairly short period of time.
Maybe you got
incorporating IPC and flight review. So, and it's John Typhon.
I was going to say, you have John Typhon.
Yeah. So we'll get you connected with John, and he can at least point you to the right person at the FAA.
Awesome. Yeah.
And maybe get some traction there and move it along at a more rapid pace. That's wonderful. Good ideas.
Yeah.
And it's good ideas like this that we share among each other.
Because that's the other thing is, nobody wants to do the 12-step process to get it correct. So,
I just want to mention also, there are other benefits to earning the phase. Okay, and David, don't leave yet. Unfortunately, he's running. But if you as a CFI give a flight review and you sign it off and let the government take the liability part of it. Karen, you want to explain that? How do you reduce your liability when you sign off?
So basically, I think there's a misunderstanding. A lot of flight instructors and also DPEs, when I talked to them about the Wings program, by the way, it was the 2019 National FAASTeam rep. So what I find is there's a hurdle because there's a misunderstanding that it doesn't have a lot of meaning. And actually, from the perspective of the DPE and the CFI, it actually reduces your liability. Because what you're doing is you're just saying they met the FAA criteria. It's not you. If you think about it, your flight review, you're the one saying, okay, I have now decided that I've done sufficient activities with this person that I have decided that they're qualified for flight review, right? So that's kind of on you. And if something happens right after that, do you think the FAA is going to say, what exactly did you do that you have decided personally that they were good enough as a pilot? Right? Now, if you use the Wings criteria, it's specified what they're showing you, and you're just basically saying, on this date, they flew to the ACS standards doing these specified maneuvers. Okay, they prove that to you. It's the same thing as a DPE. I have observed them doing this that was specified, they have done it. It's not me deciding what I wanted to see, because then the question would be, well, the decision you made, was that a sufficient decision? So you can see why that's helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it is a big liability relief for you and me as CFI, so that's good.
Okay, there are two other things that I want to bring to your attention. For your student, there's a very strong chance to get a reduction in their insurance, and that is very valuable to a lot of people. And it's what I call a get out of jail free card. And that is, if you pass a whole line or something innocuous such as that, and you get a call from the FAA and they want to talk to you about it, the fact that they see, and I'm told that before they call you, they look at your record. If they see that you have been earning phases, that demonstrate your interest in safety. Instead of pulling your license or fining you, they'll ask you to please be a little bit more careful.
Very good. So Paul and Lauretta and I will stay around here for a little bit, but I wanted to let you know that classroom number 1, this one, gets out just before classroom number 2 for lunch, which follows. Free to go, and we'll be around if you have other questions, comments, or suggestions. Thank you so much.
For joining us today.